Hey, what's going on? So in today's video, I am super excited because I'm getting my arm tattooed. I'm getting a full sleeve done, and yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I'm also super nervous because this is going to be happening over the next 4 days consecutively. So I'm nervous because I don't know if I can actually sit through the pain for 4 days. So we're gonna find out. So in this video, I'm going to be kind of like sharing with you the process as I'm going through it. I'm probably not going to be recording during the tattoo sessions just because I feel weird about bringing a camera in there and whatever. So I'll probably show you some before and afters. So I'll just be checking in with you at the end of each day to let you see the progress and talk to you about like what parts hurt the most or the least or whatever, and if I actually make it through it or not. So to get this tattoo done, I'm up in North Tonawanda, New York. I'm going to a tattoo artist who goes by n.e.e.n.o, N.e.e.n.o. And I'll put a link for his Instagram down in the video description. You have to check out his work. It is absolutely amazing. So I traveled 3 hours here and I'm staying in a hotel all week just so I could get this done. I found him on Instagram and his work blew my mind. I used a lot of his photos to give to a tattoo artist over the winter to start my sleeve. But unfortunately, I just really wasn't happy with the result of what I was getting, so I ended up firing her and talking to n.e.e.n.o and scheduling this like 4 or 5 months ago so that I can come out and get this done. So all n.e.e.n.o does is geometric blackwork tattoos. He doesn't do anything else other than that. That is all he does, which is exactly what I want. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep you updated as the week progresses with the progress and the pain levels and all that kind of stuff, and show you start to finish. So before we get into that, let me show you what I had started by the other tattoo artist. We're actually gonna be covering this up, so you're not gonna see what's here anymore. So I had this one done in January. This was supposed to be the start of the sleeve, and it's all right. It just didn't really come out as good as I wanted it to. Didn't really have as much contrast as I wanted, and I wanted an 11 in here, and rather than doing it, she just left it blank and said we would get to it later, and later never came. My arm here, you can see there was going to be like a mandala. So there's the center and it kind of goes out from there, and she did a decent job with this center part. But it was actually 2 mandalas, and one was stacked behind the other one. And when she got to this one, the stencil smudged over here and back here. And rather than retrace it out, she just freehanded it. And I don't know if you're really even gonna be able to tell in here, but she just did a really bad job freehanding it. So yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but she just wung it. And she didn't do that great. So after she did that and she didn't complete the tattoo that day, she was like not feeling well or whatever, and I was like, we don't have to do this if you don't want. She tattooed for like an hour or something and then called it quits for the day. So it was kind of a weird vibe going on with her the whole time. I'd met with her 4 times and I just never felt comfortable. I should have just taken that as a sign from the beginning, but I didn't. And anyway, moving on. I've got n.e.e.n.o now, and we're gonna go get this thing banged out this week. So I'll check in with you tomorrow and let you know how it's going. All right, it's Monday morning, just got in the car. I'm gonna head to Trader Joe's, which is a couple blocks down the street here, get a little bit of something to eat. I had a little bit of granola this morning. I was hoping that the free breakfast here would have something I could eat, but I don't know if you know this, but I'm vegan, or pretty much vegan, so they didn't really have anything I could eat. So I'm gonna go grab a banana, see what else I can score at Trader Joe's. And then I packed lunch, so got some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the week, and some chips, and we'll see how this goes. I'm nervous. I'm kind of freaking out. All right, I made it. Just grabbed my bags and heading inside. Here is the building. Looks like an old Boys and Girls Club or something. Interesting. All right, so here's some photos I took on my phone. This is the stencil that we used, and this is it on my forearm, covering up that other piece. And then this is it part of the way through. This is it completed. Here's the start of my shoulder. Here's a shot of the in progress, me laying on the table. And here we go, all wrapped up, heading to Walmart to pick up my aftercare supplies. All right, so I'm back in the hotel. I got this little light right here. It's making everything look super crazy bright, but it's the best I got. I just want you to be able to see this. So this is today's finished product. I am extremely happy with the way that it came out. As you can see, he covered over that tattoo and you can't really even see it, but he's gonna go back over this, I guess, with some skin tone to try to make it like blend in a little bit better so you won't really see it. But anyway, the most painful spot was definitely the ditch of my arm, and it's really red right now. So that hurt the most, and yeah, all across this whole area, especially this last line. He did this line on the outside last, and when he did that, I was like really in pain. So I'm glad that was the last line. He was gonna try to get this thing on, but I'm glad that we stopped when we did. So as you can see, yeah, it's this really cool geometric kind of repeating pattern, but here's basically how it goes. It's like there's little hexagons and they've got little connectors. They kind of point that way, and then the opposite ones point the other way. So the outline kind of goes into the next one. So you know what I mean? Boom. So like the outline becomes the one. So it's pretty sweet. And he decided to go a little bit lighter on that one and that one, just to like give it a little, I don't know, switch it up a little bit. And then here he stopped the outline, and well, it didn't stop it, but you know, the pattern, the way it is, there's no outline there unless you keep going on the next one. So he decided to just stop it there, and then the next pattern that comes into that will kind of like finish that off. So yeah, I think it's just really cool. Wrapped around on the front a little bit, and then brought the same thing up onto my shoulder. He's got some ideas. We went over a bunch of his designs that he's already drawn, and he had me pick which ones I liked and which ones I didn't like, and he's gonna kind of play with them tonight and figure out which ones we're gonna do where. But we already have a pattern picked out for here that I really like. It's this like swirling geometric spiral thing. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. So that's gonna go right here. So we'll see what he comes up with. Oh, and then up here, you can see a little outline right here. This is going to be another mandala up here, bringing it up onto my shoulder. They'll wrap it all the way around. So I'm super pumped. I absolutely love it so far. So that was day one. Did I already mention the pain? That hurt the absolute worst. The wrist right here was pretty bad. This was very painful, but it's a tattoo, it's gonna be painful. Just definitely this was the worst part. And then in here was actually really painful as well. It was weird because there were some spots right here that was super painful, and then it would feel like he moved barely at all over, and I couldn't feel it at all. I actually wasn't sure if he was gonna be tattooing me for a little bit right in this area. So it's interesting how there's a really hot spot, a pain spot right here, and then like right next to it is like numb, like literally nothing. And then up in here hurt a little bit too as he got up into the shoulder. So all right, well that's it. I'll check in with you tomorrow and let you know the progress of how it's going. So last night after I came home, took a shower, and showed you the update, I went out to Niagara Falls and took some photos and videos and stuff. So I'll be posting those on this channel and on my Instagram and through my Patreon sometime in the near future here. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to all three of those things. I'll have links for everything down in the description, including my Patreon. So if you're not familiar with my Patreon, it's like a fan club, and basically I send out an email. You get a direct email from me with links to everything when I'm doing stuff and letting you know what's going on. So that is the place to stay the most up to date with what I'm doing. So check it out. All right, here is the stencil for what we're gonna do on the first part. And here it is completed. Looks pretty sweet. And then here's some patterns we were looking at for another section, but we didn't end up going with any of these. Here's the inner, that spiral thing I was telling you about, stenciled out. And here it is halfway completed. This was extremely painful. All right, I just got out of the shower after day two. I almost showed you what it looked like when he sends me home. He wraps the whole thing in saran wrap and then puts like this, whatever this tape is stuff to hold it in place. I'm supposed to keep that on for like, he said 2 to 3 hours, and then take it off and wash it. So I just got out of the shower. Before I took it off, like there was blood pooled up in it, and it was really gross. So I figured I wouldn't share that. So here's today's progress. We did a bunch on the back. So yesterday was just these dark hexagons. Today he added in this whole back section here, and it wraps around to there, and then there's this inside section here that he did today that connected those, which I just freaking love that. You can see, it stops right there. Stop on the back of my arm right there. And there's gonna be another pattern right here that's gonna come down to about here, I think, and then a mandala, and then 1 or 2 more patterns right here. But we were gonna do this today, and he didn't like any of the designs that he had already had, so he said he was gonna go home tonight and draw something up specific for me. So super pumped about that. It's just coming out awesome. Looks amazing. So super stoked. And then depending on how much time we have left, he might come up a little bit here and fill in more here. We had originally talked about going like that, but seeing as how these laid out, he's thinking more now like this. So we'll see, you know, fill in the shoulder versus coming onto the chest. So basically he'll get this done, and then depending on time, work on that. So super pumped. This was incredibly painful today. This whole section was like incredibly freaking painful. So he outlined this one and then put a numbing spray on it, like lidocaine spray, so that I couldn't feel the pinpricks or whatever, the needle. I couldn't feel the needle. But by that point, everything, like this was the last thing he did. He did this first today. So this was all hurting. This was all still fresh, and he had his hands all over it today. So that was hurting. And it was just like, when he was filling this in, even though it was lidocained, I couldn't feel the needle, but I could feel his hands. You know, he stretches the skin, then he has to wipe it after he uses the needle so he can clean it off and see. And it was just like, felt like he was ripping off pieces of my skin. It just hurt so bad, even with the lidocaine. So I'm a wimp. But yeah, both days were, I got there at 10 a.m. and we left by 6. So yeah, 8-hour days. Not 8 hours of straight tattooing, but between design and layout and lunch and tattooing, everything. So super pumped. Let me know what you think so far, and I'll be back with more tomorrow. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the pain here. So this didn't really hurt that bad. It felt like it hurt when he got close to what he had already done, but it wasn't too bad. And then in the back here, that hurts once you get in towards the armpit and everything. So yeah, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's day 3. I just pulled back up to Nino's shop. I just want to show you outside what this looks like. Probably was a little hard to see that last night, so yeah, this is where we're at so far. So today I think he's gonna do this, and maybe the mandala here, and then we'll see if he gets to this and this. That might be tomorrow, I'm not really sure. So we'll see how far this gets today. But that's what it looks like so far. Super pumped. All right, here is the stencil for the first part today. It's called an asayana, and this is just really cool. This is line work versus everything else he's done so far is dot work. So that's a little bit different. And here's his iPad sketch he did to try to like put in the patterns we were thinking about using. So you could see on the shoulder what he was thinking, asayana, and then that same pattern from the shoulder, and then a mandala down on my forearm here. We didn't end up using that mandala, and then the asayana again down to end it on my wrist. And here is the stencil going on the elbow and just above the elbow. And you can see it wraps around the back here, connects all the other 3 pieces together. This is the outline completed. Again, this is all dot work. So there's the outline on the back. And here is the filling in started. And here is the filling in completed. This This is just solid black dot work. It looks pretty sweet. Love the contrast. Love the way that he ended it against the other piece there. And then we carried that same pattern up onto the shoulder, wrapped it around on the back side. Pretty sweet. All right, I just got out of the shower, day 3. He actually instructed me to take like as hot as I could bear shower, not to the point of scalding myself, and that would open up all the pores, and lather really good with antibacterial soap. And then I had to switch it to cold water, as cold as possible, for 5 minutes, and run my arm under that, and that would help with the swelling and everything. And so anyway, here's where I'm at today. So this is what he did day 1. Day 2 was this and this. And day 3, today he started with this guy right here, and then added the circles in, and then added this circle pattern up here, which is the same pattern here and here. So yeah, pretty cool. And then after he was all done, he went back in and shaded. So you can see in here, he did some shading. He did, let me remember here, he did this one and this one. This was all one pattern, and he thought it was just too big. He wanted to break it up, so he added that, and I think it really just like added this like 3D quality to it, which is cool. And he wasn't sure about this one, but then he ended up doing it, and I think it looks great. Same thing up here. He wasn't sure if he wanted to do it, and then he kind of last minute just said, I'm gonna do that. I think it needs it. And I think that was the right decision. So overall pain today, this was line work. This was an 18-pin needle. That didn't hurt too bad. This hurt quite a bit, especially everywhere around the elbow. This whole area hurt a lot. And then as I got into here, it hurt again. And right now it's actually numb, because after he had tattooed this, he wanted to do the shading, and I was already in so much pain. So he numbed this area so that when he did this shading and that shading, I didn't really feel it at all. I did feel this shading and that shading though. And this one being over top of something that was done yesterday was a little extra sensitive. So that was interesting. And then tomorrow he's gonna draw a mandala tonight or tomorrow morning for here. And then we're gonna take this pattern that's up here and finish it off from the mandala down to the bottom of my wrist and kind of close it off like that. Boom, with this pattern. So I'm super pumped about this whole thing. I think it's turning out amazing. So yeah, day 3. I'll show you again in the sunlight tomorrow morning when I go outside. I'll try to remember to do that before I go in there. And see you tomorrow. All right, it's the start of day 3. I just pulled up to the shop here, and it's raining, so I've got a long sleeve on. I'm not gonna take it off. So yeah, I'll just show you later. Okay, bye. All right, here is the stencil for the mandala on my forearm. He custom made this one just for me, which made me feel pretty special. And you can see here, he's started to outline the mandala. Same thing, just showing the outline on the back side here. And starting to fill it in, and this just like amazed me when I saw this. And there, that is completed. This is all done now. Here's the back side of it. Super sweet. He added this little asayana in that hole because there was just like an empty spot. And again, here's the front side completed. Different angle showing that asayana and how it meets up with the inner arm. And look at that thing, just amazing. All right, so here we go. This is the end of day 4 here. It's all wrapped up. It looks absolutely freaking amazing. So as you can see here today, he did this mandala right here and this little asayana, I think he called it, which tapers back in there. And then there was a little spot that the mandala didn't get to and nothing hit it, so he just popped one of those asayanas right in there too, and then added some shading to that underneath this circle pattern from yesterday, and shaded this right here as well. So super pumped about it. I think the whole tattoo just looks absolutely amazing. As far as pain for today wasn't bad at all. This part of my arm really didn't hurt at all. So yeah, that was cool. When he got back into here, that hurt a little bit. The inside of my arm here hurt, but the forearm isn't too bad, so pain level wasn't bad there. So I've been using my GoPro all week because I had it out while I was like carrying it around doing stuff, so that was what I was recording on at night when I got back here. So now that I've got this camera and everything's done, I'm gonna get in here and show you some close-ups, and then I'm also going to give this 2 weeks to heal, and once it's fully healed, I'll show you what the finished product looks like. So I won't post this video for a couple weeks, but this is pretty freaking amazing. I mean, look at that detail work on that. Isn't that just crazy? This guy is so good. Wow. I just love that forearm. So it's all looking all scaly, like this is already starting to heal, so it's looking all peely and gray and scaly and cracked. So that's why I want to show you what it looks like when it's healed, because, come on, focus. Yeah, it's not focusing. It's focusing on the background. Anyway, I'm trying to show you. Yeah, you can kind of see right here. See, it looks all weird because it's in the process of healing already, because this happened on Monday and it's Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm trying to remember now, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, so now I can start putting lotion on these, he said. Actually, I'm going to be using Aquaphor to treat that, and then tomorrow I can start putting it on these ones. I gotta like keep track of what was what, and then I think it's within 48 hours you can put it on everything. So basically Thursday, so Saturday night I should be able to put it on everything, and I have to keep it wrapped at night as long as it's oozing stuff. So yeah, my sheets here at the hotel and the towels and everything have got black ink on them and a little bit of blood. It's kind of gross, even though they've been wrapped. Like, it doesn't, like, especially up here, it doesn't stay on. It slides off while I'm sleeping at night, and I wear a t-shirt, but it still managed to get on stuff. So anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, stay tuned, because I am going to show you what it looks like healed in just a minute. And if you're interested in getting a tattoo by this guy, his name is n.e.e.n.o, and he is in the Buffalo/Niagara Falls region of New York State. So he has people travel to him from all over the country. I think other countries too, but definitely he told me people from Florida, people from Boston, people from California. Like, he's well known for doing this type of tattoo work, and people travel to see him. And I'm not going to tell you how much it cost, because I don't know if his prices are going to change, and if he wants me to tell people what it costs or not, I'll leave that between you and him. All I'll say is it was very expensive. So, but worth it, totally worth it. So anyway, yeah. All right, so I'll see you in 2 seconds, which will actually be 2 weeks from now, and I'll be back at home. All right, so it actually hasn't been that long. I've always wanted to do that little snappy thing. It is Monday, so it's been 1 week since I started this part of the tattoo. I just wanted to show you what it looks like after a week, because each part, because it was happened over a 4-day period, each part is at a different stage. So I was supposed to wait 48 hours and then start applying Aquaphor, which I did, and then, I forget if it was yesterday or the day before, I switched to Lubriderm. So after about 5 days or so, 5-ish days, give or take, I started applying Lubriderm, because the Aquaphor is kind of thick, and when you put it on, it really drags. So it was kind of like peeling off the scabs when I was applying it. Not the scabs, but the flakiness. So let me get in here and I can show you what it looks like. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of this, but you can see around the edge of all the lines, there's a little white line. Basically, it's been flaking and coming off little bit by little bit. And this part is now looking very cloudy, which is normal. It's supposed to like lose its color. And then after a few weeks, the color comes back. So this part, and I'm kind of zoomed in here, and this part up here has been done the longest. Now again, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see how flaky and peely it is. I think you can see, right? You can see that. So this is 1 week later, what it looks like, okay? Now this part right here was done a day later, so this is only 6 days old versus this is 7 days old. And then same thing with this part of the tattoo. Whoop. This is 6 days old. And then the shading here was done a day after. So I've been actually keeping track of what day was what and only applying the right ointment on that part. So what I've been doing is kind of like following the lines across. And I've been applying the Aquaphor first because it's really thick and oily. So that goes on first. And then the Lubriderm just goes on super smooth and super easy. It's very wet. So on day 3, we did the Essayana and the circle pattern on my elbow. So you can see that's really flaking a lot right in here. So, and then same thing up on my shoulder. This is that same pattern done on the same day. This is starting to flake a lot as well. So now that this is flaking a lot, I'm going to transition into the Lubriderm on this. I've been putting Aquaphor on this ever since the 48-hour period. And then my forearm, this mandala, as well as this part down on my wrist and that little guy right there, that was done on the last day, on Thursday. So this has just started to peel, but not really peeling yet. Up in here, it's peeling a little bit. You can see this one is a little darker. I actually was in my truck today and rubbed it on something, and it like picked off a little bit of it, and it started not bleeding, but a little blood came out and got a little pussy. So I got to keep an eye on that one. And you can still see here, it still looks kind of wet. Now, I took a shower about a half an hour ago. And before I put anything on it, I wanted to show you what it looked like dry while it was still flaking and everything. So I'm going to put the lotions on these things and get them all covered. So I kept my arm wrapped at night as long as it was still like oozing stuff. So I didn't wear a wrap last night or the night before because it wasn't like really oozing anything. But once you put the Aquaphor on, it still pulls out some of that ink, and there's still ink in like on the surface in the scab and all that. So I've been wearing a long sleeve shirt at night to keep my sheets protected. So you can see here, these are like really thin, lightweight shirts that I wear. And you can see that some of the areas is still leaking a little bit, but that's just the ink. It's not any blood or anything. So yeah, it seems like it's healing well. There's only this one little spot right here that looks a little bit different than everything else. It looks a little bit more like a scab, where everything else doesn't seem to be scabbed over. So I've been keeping an eye on that spot, but other than that, everything else seems to be healing just fine. So I'm gonna put some stuff on this, and I'll check back in with you, I don't know, in a few more days or a week when all the scabs have come off, or maybe sooner. I don't know really when. Before I go, I just threw on the Lubriderm and Aquaphor, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like once it's all lubed up. So this here, remember how the white lines are on the outside, and now they're all lubricated, so you don't really see those. This was super flaky and cracked, and it still pretty much is in here, but now it's moisturized. Same thing up through here. And then on these, this was starting to flake pretty bad, and that Lubriderm really just helped kind of like give it some moisture so it's not all flaky. Same thing down in here. It is still obviously flaky, but that Lubriderm really helped to give it some moisture so it won't like peel off as easily, hopefully. And as I said, I did the Aquaphor first. So I did my forearm first, starting from here down. That's why this looks a little bit more shiny. And I really paid attention to the shaded areas because they're super raw from having to work that shader in there. And down on my wrist. So you can see here the big difference. This was done first and this was done last. So you could just see the color difference between the two of them in the healing process. So they're just 4 days apart. So this will look lighter Sorry, I keep moving my hand in the wrong direction because of the camera. So this will look lighter like that, probably in a couple days here. All right, so I will check back in with you sometime soon, and I'll let you know how it's going. All right, it's been just over a week. It is Friday night, so I finished last Thursday. So it's been, like I said, a week and 1 day since it's done. I just wanted to give you a little update of what it looks like right now. Basically, all the stuff that was done first and second day has pretty much finished peeling. The stuff that was done on the third day is still peeling, and the fourth day is still peeling. Now, when I zoom way in here, you can see where the shading is. It's actually scabbed over. So this is all scabs and peeling a lot. So right here has been kind of like, it doesn't hurt. It's just like the skin feels weird. And same thing on this shaded area and on this shaded area. This one isn't as bad. And then up here doesn't actually seem to be scabbed over at all, which is good. Down on my forearm, you can see here, it's really peely and kind of scabby right on that shading. But then as soon as you come in here, there's a little bit of peeling in here, but it's not too bad. And then down on my wrist, this is scabbed over pretty good. So all that shading is really scabby. All right, so I'll check in with you in a little bit again. All right, so it's Sunday, August 14th. It's been 2 weeks and 3 days since the tattoo was finished. So it got finished on a Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 2 weeks and 3 days, and this is the last update. Basically, everything, all the scabs are gone. This part is still pretty cloudy. So as you can see here on the shaded part where it was still scabbed up, that's all the scabs are gone, and the cloudiness is starting to go away. Down here was the other spot that it was really scabby, and the cloudiness is still there, but it's starting to fade away. There was this one spot that I was worried about early on in the tattoo, and that I'm assuming might have to be touched up because it doesn't look like the ink really stayed in that one spot, but we'll see. Again, here on that shading is where it was really scabby, and that has healed up really well. The only place that I have a little bit of a scab left is right on that one line right there. But anyway, that's healing up real well. And if you remember, this was really cloudy last week, and this color has come back. It's popped a lot again. So I'm hoping that all of these shaded spots will come back to life a little bit more. So yeah, thanks for joining me on the journey over the last 3 weeks. And I'm really excited about this. I think it's awesome. I've gotten tons of compliments about it. So thank you to n.e.e.n.o. if you actually watched this video. Thank you so much. I'm really happy with the tattoo. And if you're interested, check out n.e.e.n.o. His Instagram is down in the video description. He does amazing work. Again, he's out of the Buffalo, New York area. If you've got any questions or comments or anything, just let me know down in the comments section. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up down below. And subscribe for more videos from me, and probably not more tattoo videos anytime soon, but I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye.